No. That's really good. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. There's a lot to think about there. I think especially these days, there's a lot of influencers around, influencers around, flashing all these funded accounts and making it look easy. And all these funded accounts give you like, oh yeah, you can trade 30 micros on your challenge. It's like it's giving the people that ammunition to fail instantly. Um, which I think a lot of us have been there. Like we've all tried to do like something with a funded account that hasn't gone too well, and then you're like, oh damn, like go and look at Michael's Twitter to see if he's like got a trade on or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But
There are influencers, and some of them are students, and some of them are students of mine, but they are familiar with who I am and what I do. When they're on their live stream and they trade and they use what it is that they trade with as a model, and they're not using a lot of leverage, like for instance, like Tanja trades and Lumi traders, Dasha, they're actually trading on their stream. They're not doing heavy leverage, but they do give away those codes and stuff. If they have a little niche business they're doing, it's a little boutique thing they're doing, and that's fine. I got a problem with that because they're still doing something that's realistic. They're not in there trading 30 micros, 15 minis. Okay. Look at what they're doing. Their leverage is very, very small. They're listening to the logic I'm showing you. Don't try to make a lot of money in these conditions right now because it'll take it from you easier than you making it. You got to remember, you're just now starting. If you just started in the last 2 years, you don't have the experience to be trading with multiple mini contracts in this leverage and that kind of leverage and this volatility. You don't. I'm gonna tell you, you don't. I don't care how much fucking money you took as a payout. That's not an indicator. That's not a report card that tells you, Michael, you're wrong. That's just you having a hot lick in the marketplace. That's what that is. We all have them. If you stay in it long enough, you'll get them, and you think you figured it all out until you don't. Then you realize, oh shit, I didn't know as much as I thought I did. And then you're met with this. Well, what do I do? And the first thing comes to mind is bigger trades, more accounts. Let me link them all up because I got to get it back. I got to get back to where I was. No, you don't. You got to get back to square one. Recalibrate, like I was talking to the other caller that came in. Guarding your mind is the first primary tool to finding success. That means don't let me influence. Once you figure out what you're supposed to do, don't let me change you. Don't let me tinker with it. Whatever I teach going forward, don't let it in. Don't let it in. You found your cookie cutter. Don't let anybody else influence you away from it. Because whatever that repeating phenomenon is, it's scalable. You can make it as big as you want, or you can keep it simple and have this like a micro contract, and that's all you ever do. If you only trade one micro for the rest of your life, you know what you're doing? You're doing better than 99.9999999% of every motherfucker that ever considers trading ever in their life. Most people can't make money. And if you can be comfortable with not fearing the outcome because you're doing one micro, you're trading to a smooth edge with a bias that's obvious when it's one-sided. Once you get your little piece of dough get cut out with that little cookie cutter, step away from the marketplace and don't do anything else. Exercise discipline over yourself. Over time, you'll grow in confidence and you'll gain the appreciation for what you don't appreciate right now. You can't appreciate it. You can't appreciate being consistently profitable for 8 years, 10 years, because you haven't been doing it long enough. But the lessons you learn in the first couple years, risking very little and protecting your perspective, not only over money, but what you think you can do and what you're holding yourself to in terms of the realm of reasonable. What's realistic and reasonable for you right now? Is it realistic for you to go out there and think that you can do $20,000 payout in the first week just because you can afford to buy the accounts? Just because you can charge on your credit card doesn't mean that that outcome is going to happen. How much anxiety are you going to have trying to do that? What happens if you fail? You're going to have to reset it and buy it all over again. How much more confident are you going to be the second time having to try it? Think about how that is different from, I only have to use one micro contract. And I am content with if I can make $250 over the course of 1 week to simply trading the first percent of fair value gap when the market's likely to go in a parabolic run for a couple handles. One micro contract, 200 handles, that's $400. You already padded out 1.75 of a week's worth of effort. One trade. They're easy. They're there every week. They're not every day, but they're there every week. And by you understanding that you don't need to do so much, you don't have to do all this heavy lifting. It's like men, when we join the gym, we want to hang out with our friends and we want to start building our muscles up. What do we do as young men? We go in there and we want to put the heaviest weight because the guy we're lifting with, he's doing a whole rack. And he wants to look like he's the strong guy. He might be the strongest person there. But who the fuck said that you are expected to do the same way he's doing, the same number of sets he's doing? Nobody. But that's an illusion that you have to live up to that. I'm telling you, where the fuck are you making your money? Are you making money doing all the shit you're trying to do right now? Because if you're not, you can make money with one micro contract. One micro contract pays the fucking bills. But none of you want to do that because it's not sexy. Nobody's going to glad hand you on social media and say, look at you, man, you made $75 on that trade. That's fucking awesome. But I'm going to tell you that is awesome. That's awesome because that's scalable. What happens if you would have did that with one mini? That's $750 fucking dollars. Did you make $750 today in 37 minutes at your job? Fuck no, you didn't. You didn't do that. And that's what you need to be thinking about. You need to think about, okay, what's the smallest multiple that I can use in action, in my own hands, with my own effort and my own understanding and present skill set, applying with one micro contract. Right now, 10 handles seems like it's impossibility because you're brand new. 50 handles seems like, oh, that's a stretch. I could probably do 20. But over time, a couple months, you'll see that 50 handles is not as hard as you thought it was. It's just looking for the setups and the framework over a different time frame. Different PV array, a little bit further outside your realm of comfort. There's a lot of people out there that talk a lot of bullshit, and they're only trading in less than 10 handle runs. They're looking at these little tiny little bullshit bars, okay, that they're talking about everybody else, and they can't do shit outside of that. Why? Because they don't have visibility. They don't have visibility, but they're supposed to be multimillionaires, but they're not multimillionaires. And you listen to people like that, and you take the impact of their negativity, and it holds you back. Instead of just simply saying, you know what harm would it be if I listened to Michael right now and said, I'm going to spend the next 4 weeks, I'm only going to use one micro contract, and I'm going to try to get my grocery bill for the month. Can I do that? If you can't do that, why are you trying to do more? Because it's going to show you what you're doing wrong, what you're thinking about money and what you're thinking about trading and your lack of or your model being inappropriate for you or not as well defined as you really think it might be. Maybe it falls short. You won't know unless you do this. You won't know. What happens if you do it? And you find out that all the things you've been doing, making it harder than it's necessary, what happens if you have this paradigm shift? And the things that you worry about every day, you stress about, every day is exciting when we wake up, isn't it? I can't wait to see what the market does. 9:30 opening bell, I'm going to see that first percent of the fair value gap. Yeah, it's fucking great, man. I love it. Now go back to what it feels like when you lay your head down at nighttime. What did you do with it? Did you make money with it? Did you abandon the idea because you saw some flutter of bullshit, or maybe you saw me post something, or maybe you saw somebody else post something, and it changed your opinion because you're allowing the influence to do it? You're not blocking out everybody, even me, and sticking to your model, where you can close your eyes and say, you know what? Michael's probably talked about something really cool today, but I don't give a fuck because my model said I was supposed to do this. I followed my model. I didn't look at anybody else's bullshit. I didn't listen to Michael's stuff on his X feed because most of the time he's talking out his ass because it's his playground. I'm following what I learned how to do. It works in my hands, and now I can lay my head down at night because I did exactly as a trader should. Stick to their own plan, stick to their own lane, mind my own fucking business, and I don't give a shit what anybody else is doing because I'm not going to give you your bill money. I'm not sending you any money. I have people every day begging me, I'm really short on money, and I would really appreciate if you would buy me a laptop so I can start trading. The fuck out of here. You're asking for something that, get a job. Earn that. Where are you getting the money to trade from? Forget the laptop. What's the money you're going to use to trade with? Everybody's begging for money right now. You will have that one skill set that's repeatable. It's scalable. You can make it as big as you want it over time, but you have to gradually grow into it, working your way up from one micro, doing it every single day, being comfortable with just enough, being content with enough. And that's a skill set that is largely overlooked by everybody because it's not exciting. Nobody wants to join a mentorship that says, I'm going to teach you how to make $65 a day. The fuck, who's signing up for that? Nobody. Nobody's signing up for that. I'm going to be honest with you. I was talking to Cameron. I said, listen, you know what would be funny as shit? God's honest truth, I'm never doing a mentorship. I'm just saying, I jokingly said to him, I said, you know what? I want to see what the reaction would be if I said, listen, I'm gonna do a paid mentorship. Okay, it's $25. And I'm gonna teach you how to make $65 a day trading. And just to see, and I know right away there'd be a lot of people just because they want to be a part of it because it's my name attached to it. But largely nobody would really take that serious. And in fact, I would get a lot of backlash and comments and see you went against your will and you need the money, or you went against your word rather. And it was just to prove to him that largely most people wouldn't do it. Why? Because they look at the outcome as the report card. That's the value. You're saying all I can make is $65, not realizing that what requires that $65 payout on a micro, which is $2 per handle, is about 30 handles or more. Now, what would you do if you had 15 mini contracts on a 30 handle run that you can get just about 4 or 5 times a week? You're going to make money, aren't you? But the average person, they're not going to look at that because they aren't taught to look at money that way. They don't have the concept of scaling. They don't have the concept of compound interest. They don't have that. They're not taught that way in school. They're taught to do simple things, add addition, stuff like that, and just be a drone, be a good slave. But what happens when you sit down and you say, you know what, I'm going to work this out where over time, I'll give myself 3 years. Michael said he took 20 years. He sat down and mapped out 20 years and he's going to retire. What happens if you give yourself 3 years? What if I'm wrong and then they let trading go on unobstructed for 3 years? And you do this and you convince yourself that you're better at this than you are afraid that you're not going to be good enough. And you're able to meet your ends a little bit better. And you build it up a little bit more and you start scaling it. In 1 year, scaling this, you can beat Larry Williams' record. The math's there. The math's there. One contract in silver right now. If you started, let's say, for instance, say you started with $20,000 at the beginning of the year. Now you've done this for a little while, and you've worked for 2 years working micro, and you built up the consistency and the confidence. You know your model, you know yourself. You're not trying to do anything more than is necessary. But third year, you have a little bit of equity in your hands, and you're going to go for it. You're going to let money management dictate how fast you can scale up, and when you got to scale back and draw down. Look at daily range in silver right now. I'm convinced that the person that's in the #1 spot at Robbins right now is trading silver. Because in the beginning of the year, they didn't have the problems with the leverage or the margins that we have right now for silver. So all that big movement came, and if say he had, or she, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, I don't know. People think, I never said it was me. I don't even know if it's a person that trades, but I see a lot of people pretending that they're that guy or person, and they're not. But in one daily range, you can get 20,000 easily with the movement that silver's doing. So what if they get $20,000 in profit in one day, they're making 100% return on that account every single session. So what happens if they caught a big run? They're letting money management do the heavy lifting, but they're following a model. And if you're using the volatility that parlays that account up more and more and more, they're not doing more trading. They're just applying more allocation to what they're already trading. And that's all you'll do with doing this. But you have to start somewhere, and that means ground zero is 1 micro. And if you can't do it with 1 micro, that's the easiest litmus test that you would not be able to do it with more. And nobody teaches this way. Nobody does this. Nobody does this because it's not interesting. I guarantee you, most of you are just zoning out right now. You're like, this is bullshit. I don't want to hear about this. But you're the same person who's going to complain that you can't make your fucking bills right now. You're going to be the first person that complain when your heating and air conditioning bill and your fucking gas bill when you fill up your gas tank in your car. Why is it so expensive? This is bullshit. When none of that stuff would be felt as much as if you were doing this. Mitigate it. Nobody's going to hand you the fucking money. You're not going to win the lottery. So why not just strap in and say, okay, I'm going to take this old man's challenge and I'm going to see if I got what it takes to be a trader. I'm going to see if I can do it. Because if you can't take this challenge and pass a boot camp of 4 weeks trading 1 micro and make $1,000, you can't fucking trade. You can't trade. And you'll find all the problems. If you're honest with yourself and you journal, you'll find all the problem areas that you need to fortify. In 1 month, you can fix your shit. How many of you are going to do it? If you're listening to me, if you want to take that personal challenge, say, I'm going to do it, ICT. Just send it to me as a post to me next. If you're not, then
Can we call it the mitigation, the mitigated trader? Something. I mean, you're literally mitigating your grocery bill. You're literally mitigating an important bill utilizing the trading skill. That's what I thought of as you're saying it. Like, I love how you said mitigation, but I love that challenge, especially for our community, Michael. Like, I really, really do.
You can name it whatever you want to name it.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking of it. I'm thinking of something in regards to like a mitigation, something about mitigation. I mean, you're mitigating bills just by trying to utilize your real life skill set with a real life account, not overtrade, not play games, legitimately tap in and pay a bill. I think that's beautiful.
Or like the ends meet challenge.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah,
like that.
whatever you want to get it. But just do it.
I like that, and as a community, we should try and put that together. And then, I mean, I'll try and email maybe something to you, Michael. So maybe if you just look out for maybe something, I'll try and follow up with you with something if we get something from folks. So, but yeah,
I would be very interested to see the participation, even if you don't pull it off, but you tried. And then you tell us in a space like this, where this is what I encountered when I did it, and this is what I learned from doing it. That's beneficial. That will encourage other people to be honest with themselves, because there's a lot of people out there that simply are ignoring their problem characteristics. You're hiding it.
This is going to be, I'm sorry, this is going to be a trader roundup challenge. That's what we're going to call it, because our community is who you're proposing this to. I mean, the extension of your community, clearly. But I really love, and I'm excited. I hope people really take this on. I really am.
It's an interactive study. It's fruitful. It will show you where you need work, but it'll also convince you that, remember, what you're doing with 1 micro, it's scalable. When you build up more equity, that means more leverage you can have. But it has to be a reasonable growth period to when you're allowed to up to another micro contract. And I'm of the opinion that $2,500 is the minimum if you're going to do 1 micro. If you're going to trade with a real cash account, $2,500 is the absolute minimum. That means they've been trading for a while and they have a model and they're not going to be reckless. $5,000 is more closely in the realm of the majority of you. But you're doing it with a demo account. They're not doing it with a funded account. I'm just showing you something to practice to see if you can stick to an approach, find your problems, find your flaws, find your strengths. But can you find at the end of 4 weeks a net gain of at least $1,000? And if you can do that, what says you can't do that? As an approach to this, help you give yourself a break in your cost every month. So that's all I got, guys.
I love it. The ends. I love that too. The ends challenge.